Sean Hannity and the very, very handsome Adam Carolla to his program last night for some of Adam Carolla's wisdom about women and what makes a politician popular. Here is Sean Hannity and Adam Carolla.
And here's a quick thought experiment. If AOC was fat and in her 60s, would anyone listen to another thing she ever said?
Oh boy, you're going to step in that one. What exactly do you mean by that? Do you mean, is it because she's young and what?
Yes, she's young, she's vibrant, she's beautiful, and everyone's always putting a camera and a mic in her face. But her opinions are idiotic 95% of the time. And I don't think if she was a middle-aged, heavy-set woman, anyone would care what she had to say.
I'm not so sure I agree. Now, I will say this.
He's got to run away from
criticize her ideas, and I do. I think the Green New Deal is madness and insanity, but she's got the whole Democratic Party following her. In my opinion, she's way more powerful than Speaker Pelosi, and if she and the squad decide Speaker Pelosi's out, I think she could probably be Speaker. If she challenges Chuck Schumer in New York, I think she has a good shot of beating him. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I agree with you. I'm just saying if she was fat and old, I don't think TMZ would be chasing her around with a camera.
Pause it for 1 second. Pause it for 1 second. This is an interesting way. No. Keep that image up there, because this is an interesting way to test his theory. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if there was someone who was really old, let's say, and not necessarily the best looking person to look at, who would espouse their views? Do you really think that people would listen to that person, or they would be popular in any way?
Constantly on the news.
Constantly on the news? Could they run and challenge maybe like the top politicians in the Democratic Party for, let's say, president, or I don't know. Do you think they could get made to chairperson of the banking committee in the Senate? Oh, who's that next to AOC?
Who's that hot piece of ass next to AOC?
What a smoke show.
Whoa.
I mean, all right, like.
Or let's say like, you know, Katie Porter is not middle-aged, but she sort of she has that look of like she could be like 28 or 58.
Okay.
Like I have friends who look like that. They look the same. When we were like in our 20s, I'm like, you look like you're like 42. And then when they're like 58, I'm like, you still look like you're 42. Katie Porter still looks like that. Yeah. She is also one of the most popular Democratic politicians that exist.
But it's the point really though is that they're telling on themselves here. I mean, that's why they're obsessed with her, is because they have a psychosexual obsession with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They can't understand why she's saying all these things that makes them mad, but she's still too attractive to them. And like, it's very predatory and creepy. I
imagine, because it was certainly the case a year ago, that AOC still has higher name recognition amongst Republicans than she does amongst Democrats. Mm-hmm. And that is a function of exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And Sean Hannity, if he wasn't so sensitive of the fact that no women listen to his show, which he has been for 20 years, probably would have been more comfortable going there. But the idea that AOC has the ability to get rid of Nancy Pelosi also, it's like,
I wish.
It's like, absolutely. It is like just two idiots just jousting with their idiocy, and like, well, I see your idiocy, I will raise your idiocy with my own idiocy.
They're so arrested too, because I mean, specifically Corolla in this instance, because they just like they're like they're in elementary school or something like that. Like, I'm going to pull on
Corolla's entire.
I'm going to pull on the girl's ponytail because I think she's cute.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, they're so out of touch with their own like, and disconnected from their own like sexuality, that they project all of their anger onto her. And it's really creepy, and it's at the root of like why someone like her does get harassed to a degree because the right wing pushes it, then someone like Katie Porter does not.
They love at Fox, and they have loved this since the beginning of since their inception, is attacking left-leaning young women.
Yeah.
It has been their recipe since at least the year 2000.
And when you bring up Bernie in contrast too, that is exactly it, right? I mean, on the left and people in the Democratic Party, I mean, I would say on the left, we both appreciate and like Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but the people who are obsessed with and driving this only focus on one of them, independent of what they're both saying, even though they're more ideologically aligned. So it's their projection.
That sort of like sexualizing of it too. It reminds me of Nixon in 1950 called his opponent Helen Douglas pink right down to her underwear, and it's like you're invoking this stuff for a reason. And it says a lot about as much about you as it does the person you're ostensibly talking about.
Yeah.